So in the story of the chimpanzees, I love Jane Goodall take us in the journey that she took in Africa, in Tanzania, and when she met all the chimpanzees there, and she tried to make a communication with these creatures. And she said that these creatures are like the other animals, or they are like what? Who can remind me?
Like they're human.
Like a human. In which way they are like humans?
In thinking and
Mhm.
like and she said that they're like they're how you say clever more than scientists.
They are clever,
And they
excellent,
think, yeah,
and they think sometimes like people. Can you give me examples of their acting like people?
like they know how like they eat.
Yes.
They know how like to touch like what they're eating, like
Mhm.
humans. And I think wait,
Also, their eating habits, maybe, and what they are making out of twigs and logs, what they are making. If they can't reach the fruit, what they are making out of twigs. They are making it like a stick. They link it together and try to make
yeah.
it as a stick and try to make it as a tool to what? To bring the other fruit. So what they are making
Yeah, and they
also,
know how to peel the fruits and peel the banana.
excellent. And also they know how to make tools. This is
Yeah.
something unusual for animals to do. But for these animals, it's very easy for them, like they are trained to do it. So they know how to make tools also. Another thing about these animals, an interesting fact that they also vegetarian animals and at the same time they eat meat. So they eat
Yeah.
both of them, vegetables and meat, unlike other creatures. Other creatures or animals, they eat whether
Yeah,
vegetables
miss.
or grass or whether meat, but not both of them. These animals, they eat both. Yes, Watin.
Miss, my mom said like when she went to Taif, she was pregnant with me. She said that when she saw lots of monkeys, she said when I give them the nuts, she give them nuts and bananas. She said that they know how to peel the banana and broke the nuts and eat it.
Yes, yes, those
I was
animals
stunned.
are really interesting. One thing also,
Yeah.
interesting fact about them also, that some of the chimpanzees and some of the monkeys in India, what they do for the tourists, when the tourists go for India, they try to steal some of the stuff from the tourist only. Like, for example, their hat,
Why?
their mobile, and then they try to trade it back with the tourists. They try to give it back to the tourists, but you have to give me food instead of it.
Wow.
They're smart like that.
Yes. So these animals are unlike other creatures, subhanallah, in the forests, that they have mind that somehow is similar to people and to human. That's why it's really interested to study these animals. Okay, right now we are going to see in the second part what kind of information that also we don't know about these chimpanzees. So let's go together to read in the page. Just a minute. In the page 62. We stopped at here, so 62.
Yeah.
This one. Okay, infant chimpanzees are adorable and, for the first 2 or 3 years, are gentle and easy to handle. People buy them and treat them like human children. But as they grow older, they become more and more difficult. They are, after all, chimpanzees. And they want to behave like chimpanzees. They resent, they resent discipline. They resent discipline. They can and do bite. And by the time they are 6 years old, they are already as strong as a human male. What will happen to them then? Zoos don't, zoos don't want them, for they have not been able to learn chimpanzees' social behavior and they do not mix well with others of their kind. Often they end up in medical research labs. It is because their bodies are so like ours that scientists use chimps to try to find out more about human diseases and how to cure and prevent them. Chimpanzees can be infected with almost all human diseases. Hundreds Hundreds have been used with no success in AIDS research. The virus stays alive in their bodies, but they do not show any symptoms. They do not show the symptoms. It is very unfair that even though chimpanzees are being used to try to help humans, they are almost never given decent places to live. So right now, the researcher is talking about what happened to these chimpanzees if people take them. People come to the places of the chimpanzees and they take 2-year-old or 1-year-old chimpanzee and they take it as a pet. When the chimpanzee is 1 year old or 2 years old, he's so cute. He's like a little baby. Okay?
Yeah.
If you try to take him as a pet, it's very cute and nice at the beginning that you treat him as a little baby and you can cuddle him, hug him, it's okay. But then when he grow older, he become more violent because he want to act like a chimpanzee and you want him to act like a baby. He's not a baby. He's an animal. So he
Yeah,
wants
but
to
he
go
looks
out.
like humans.
Yeah, but they want to go outside. They want to go over the trees. They want to jump, to play, and to socialize with their own kind. But you keep him inside the house, then he will not be a baby ever. He will become
Yeah.
more violent and violent. The more he grow, the more violent he become. And he start then to bite people, to hit people, maybe to cause some problems for people. Then people got scared of that chimpanzee when he grow up. Why? Because the more he grow, the more difficult he become, and the stronger he become. He becomes strong like a big male of human people. And even the one hit of the chimpanzee can cause a several damage to your face, to your heart, to your body because they have so much strength and muscles. So one hit from their side, it would cause a lot of damage to human people. So what people do at that time, they try to send them to the laboratory or to send them to research places. So the scientists, they buy it and they try to make some studies on them because their bodies is similar to the body of people. They try to put some disease in their body to see what will happen to them. If I put this cure or vaccine to that chimpanzee, what will happen? Why? Because they are similar to people. So if they make any reaction to that vaccine or to that disease, then it will affect the people the same way. But actually, what happened? These research can never success. Why? Because even though their body is like us in some ways, but subhanallah, their bodies do not react like the people or the human body. Some researchers, when they put the AIDS disease inside these animals, the virus stayed there, but they weren't affected like people. Yani the disease, it didn't affect them. They stayed alive. But the AIDS, if it come to human, we will die immediately. Like within 2 or 3 years, the people will die without cure. Why? Because the disease works in the people's body in a different way than the animals. So they didn't have any use of using these animals. Then why you are torturing? And in the same time, you are torturing these animals and you don't give them a decent place to stay or to live. They put them inside cage and they work on them like what? Like mice of experiments. Let's see next what happened. Okay, now we will read group reading. Who's with me? Lean and Wateen. I will read the word and you try to read after me, okay? And then I will give you the mic to read by yourself. Okay, hundreds of them
Hundreds of them
are shut up in.
are shut up in. This
Girls,
all of us read.
all of you read after me, girls. It's a group reading now.
Okay.
So hundreds of them
Okay.
Hundreds of them
are shut up in
Are
are
shut up in
5 multiply 5 multiply 7
5
5
multiply 5
multiply
multiply 7.
7.
there.
There.
Bear.
Still buried prisons.
Still buried prisons.
All alone.
all alone,
bored and uncomfortable.
bored and uncomfortable.
Measure out this.
Measure out this
Space and imagine.
Space and imagine.
imagine.
Having to live in it.
Having to live in it.
Your whole life.
Your
Your
whole
whole life.
life.
Many closets are much bigger.
Many closets
are much bigger.
I shall never forget
I
I
shall
shall
never
never
forget
forget
the first time I
the first time I
I
looked into the eyes
looked into the eyes
of an adult male chimpanzee. Of
into the
an
eyes of
adult
an
male
adult male
chimpanzee.
chimpanzee
in one of these labs.
In one of these labs.
For more than 10 years,
for more than 10 years.
he had been living
He had been living
in his tiny prison.
in his tiny prison.
The sides,
The sides,
floor, and ceiling
floor, and ceiling
were made of thick steel bars.
were made of thick steel bars.
There was a car tire on the floor.
There was
There
a car
was a car tire
on the
in the
floor.
floor.
His name I read on the door
His
His
name I read on the door
was Jojo.
was
Jojo.
Jojo.
That's a cool name, right?
Yeah.
like
Like the singer.
what's her name? Yeah, what's her name? Yeah, Jojo Siwa, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
the one with the
Yeah, she have a bobo.
yeah.
He lived at the end
He lived at the end
of a row of 5 cages,
of a row of 5 cages,
lined up along a bare wall.
lined up
lined up along the barrel.
Opposite were 5 more cages.
Opposite were 5 more cages.
At either end of the room
At either end of the room
was a metal door.
was a metal door.
Okay, I will stop right here in this. And now I need somebody to start reading. Lean, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to read from here. There was no, if you have the book, it's better because here it's a little bit blurry. So if you can see it in your book, it's better than here. Do you have your book beside you?
Yeah.
Okay, open the page 63, 63 or 63, yes.
Yeah, 63.
There was
Okay. Okay, I found it. I start from 63.
yes, there
No,
was
from there was.
here from this this line.
Okay. Okay. There was no window. Jojo could not touch any of his prisoners. Only the ends of his fingers fit between the bars. He had been born in African forest, and for the first couple of years he lived in a world of greens and browns, leaves and vines, butterflies and birds. Always his mother had been close to comfort him towards, and he was snatched from her dead or dying body. The young chimpanzee was shipped away from his forest world to the cold, bleak extents of a North American research lab. Jojo was not angry, just grateful that I had stopped by him. He groomed my fingers, where the ridges of my cuticles showed through the surgical gloves I had to wear. Then he looked into my eyes and with one gentle finger reached to touch the tear that rolled down into my mask.
Excellent job. So flip the page. Now she is introducing herself to Jojo, and Jojo looked to her in the eyes behind the bars, and he tried to touch her and to hug her from behind the bars. So this is the first connection with this chimpanzee that it captured her heart forever.
Miss, imagine if a big chimpanzee and he come and hug you.
What?
Imagine, just imagine
I will hug
if
him.
if one big chimpanzee, like giant chimpanzee, comes and hug you like a person, you will be scared.
I would just look at him and say, "Whoa,
No,
we
Miss,
can't
I will hug
accept
him. Wallah, I will hug him.
that. Keep some boundaries,
Continue.
dude. Like, I can't hug you because you're so big, and I'm afraid of you that if you hit me, you'll smash my face. So there's no future for us." But for that lady, she was brave enough to go in there and to hug these chimpanzees
Now I would be scared to tell
to
him
play
that
with
it's
her
not.
head. You
I
see?
would just run.
Subhanallah. So let's go for the different one. For the next page. Mhm. Let's go with Watin. Hi, Watin. In the United States, several hundred.
In the United States, several hundred chimpanzees have been declared surplus. They are no longer needed for medical research. Animal welfare groups are trying to raise the money to build them sanctuaries, so that they can end their lives with grass and trees.
Lives. So they can end their lives with grass and trees.
So they can so that they can end their lives with grass and trees, sunshine and companionship. Some lucky ones, including Jojo, have already been freed from their laboratory prison. Many others many others are waiting. Zoos are getting better, but there are still many chimps in small
Concrete.
concrete and metal cages with no soft ground and nothing to
Occupy them.
Good occupy them. Good zoos keep their chimpanzee in groups and provide them with all kinds
Provide them.
provide provide them with all kinds of stimulating things to do, different things each day, so that they don't get bored. Many zoos now have artificial termite mounts. Chimps use sticks or straw to poke into holes for honey or other foods. The
These
innovation make
these innovations
these innovations make a world or difference
of difference.
of difference.
Okay, excellent job, Watin. So right now she's talking about the circumstances how these chimpanzees are locked down inside cages, and she's comparing between the past and right now. And she's saying in the past these animals were just kept inside the laboratory behind bars in cages, small cages that is not usually good for them to sit in there because it's very small and tiny cage compared to his age and to his size. But right now, some of the zoos when they go and bring these animals inside the zoos, right now some of the zoos they bring some trees in there, some plants, some grass, some their own foods that they like. Even they put for them some games and some playing grounds for them to play together and to have fun together. So these innovations, which means that the new things that they added for these zoos, are making differences for these chimpanzees to have at least a decent place for them to spend the time and to live in there. Because let's face it, if we bring an animal from the forest or from the woods or from his wildlife and we put him inside the zoo, that means that this animal probably will complete his whole life inside that place and will die in there. So they will never go back to the wilds again. So before, in the past, the zoos, they didn't care about the animal. What they care about is the money. They put the animals in there inside cages and they bring people to watch these animals inside the cages without providing anything for them. Not the food that they like, not the environment that they like, and not also the mates that they like. They stay there inside the cage until they grow up and die. But now the zoos actually they are caring about those animals and they are trying to provide the least thing for these animals to survive in a decent place until they die and they spend their whole life in there. Protecting the chimpanzees. Okay, Malak, complete from here, please.
Okay. Chimpanzees live in the forested areas of West and Central Africa. In some places where there is a lot of rain, these are thick tropical rainforests. In other places, there are strips of dense, dense forests along the rivers, with woodland and even open grassland. In between, the chimpanzees usually cross open ground.
No, no, just a minute. Open grassland in between and then stop here and then start new sentences. You link them together. You have to stop on the full stop. Okay? So repeat it again. In other places, there
Um,
are in other places there are strips of
in
dense.
other in other places, there are strips of dense forests along the river, with woodland and even open grassland in between. The chimpanzees usually cross open ground in groups, traveling without stopping until they reach the safety of the trees again. Chimpanzees can survive in a quite dry air in quite dry areas, but they have very big ranges.
Mhm. Ranges. But there they have very big home ranges, for they must travel widely to get food. Hello, are you okay? Why you become frozen? Hello? Hello, Malak. I can't hear you, by the way. Okay, she's gone.
I think yeah, she's going to leave because every like when we do a meeting, she's be quiet and then she leave.
Her internet connection is like not
Yeah,
stable. That's why. Okay.
yeah, look, she
Yeah. Yep.
left.
She's gone. Okay. Chimpanzees live
Yeah,
in
Miss, she should
forested
come.
areas. Malak.
Yeah, because the internet just stopped.
No
Yeah.
problem. Okay, stopped in here. Chimpanzees can survive in quite dry areas, but from here.
But their chimpanzees can survive in quite dry areas, but there they have very big home ranges, for they must travel widely to get food. Like the other African great apes, the gorillas and bamboos, they are appearing very
Disappearing,
fast.
disappearing very fast.
Disappearing really very fast. 100 years ago, we think there were about one,
2
1
million,
million,
2 million chimpanzees.
2 million chimpanzees in Africa. Now there may be no more than 115,000.
150,000. 150,000.
150,000. They are already extinct in four of the 25 countries where they once lived. There are more chimpanzees
In the Great Congo.
in the Great Congo Basin, in the Great Congo Basin than anywhere else. But that is where they are disappearing the fastest. The fastest. They are disappearing for various reasons. One, all over Africa, their forests homes are being destroyed as human population grow and need even more land for their crops and for their homes, and even more wood for making charcoal or for firewood.
Excellent. That's enough,
Two,
Malak. Great job. Okay, now this is where we reach, and I will complete this very fast. These are the reasons why the chimpanzees are disappearing from the Congo place and from other areas and from other countries around Africa. The first reason we have that people, they need some extra place for them to build their houses and to have their places for living. So what they do, they go for the areas of the chimpanzees and try to destroy it and build houses for them. So the chimpanzees can't stay there anymore. They have to have their own places and their own trees. Well, another thing, in many places, chimpanzees are caught in snares set for bush pigs or antelopes. Sometimes the chimpanzees are walking and they fell into what? Into snares or traps of other animals, like traps for pigs or traps for any other animal. So they die in those places. There are still dealers who are trying to smuggle chimpanzees out of Africa for the live animal trade. So what they do, when some of the people, they try to take these animals, these chimpanzees in many numbers, and they put them inside a van and they try to smuggle them out of Africa to other countries. These countries, they use it on laboratory or in the zoos because, as I told you, in Europe they don't have this kind of animal. So that's why when they took it in large numbers, what will happen? Those animals, they extinct after a while. The greatest threat to chimpanzees in the Great Congo Basin is commercial hunting for food. Some people, even in Congo and in other African places, they hunt these animals for food. They hunt them and eat them. Imagine. So these animals, they are threatened by many things, and they are threatened not to exist for a long time because if they stay in the same amount and the same scale, hunt them and eat them and kill them in the same amount, they will die and extinct after a while. So this is where we stop today. I want you to go ahead over the rest of the story and to read it by your own. This is your own homework today. And there's other homework that is online comprehension. You will find it in the website. It's only 3 questions about the story. I want you, after you finish, inshallah, to go and to answer it. Okay, my girls? Any question until now?
Thank you.
Did you like the information about it?
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of the author in this story? To inform or entertain or persuade? What do you think?
to inform.
To inform us about the chimpanzees. Thank you so much for watching and for being with us today. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you inshallah tomorrow. Until then, stay safe and be okay. Bye bye.
Bye, Miss.